Hi, are you Kendall?
Yep.
I'm Kylie. I'm going to be your OT today.
Hi, nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you too. So I understand you've been dealing with some chronic pain recently.
Yeah.
How's that been going for you?
It's been pretty hard. It's been really affecting my daily life.
Okay, so I understand that it can be really challenging to get through your day. So together today, we're going to be doing this goal attainment scaling assessment. So we'll call it GAS for short. So this assessment is just going to help us develop some goals, kind of starting with a baseline and seeing where we can improve from there, and also some ways that we don't want to, go backwards from the progress you've made so far.
Okay.
So let's start with our first goal. So this goal can be anything. I know you mentioned that it's affecting your daily life, so if there's anything you can think of that you'd like to improve, we can write that down and get started.
Yeah, one of the things I have a hard time with is I take a lot of breaks throughout the day, and I take about like 7 to 9 breaks a day.
Okay.
Just to be able to get through it.
Is that due to the pain?
Yeah.
Okay, great. So in OT, we'll call that energy conservation. So we'll just kind of work to develop some different techniques that we can help you to make sure you can kind of get through some of your daily activities without feeling so, fatigued or tired.
Okay.
So that's great. Can we think of another goal?
Yeah, another thing is I have a really hard time falling asleep at night. It normally takes me 2 to 3 hours to fall asleep every night, and I feel like by the time I wake up the next morning, I did not have a well-rested night.
Okay, that's a great goal. So what would you like to do with that goal? Would you like to, what would be a range that you'd like to fall asleep within?
I think I would like to fall asleep within 1 to 2 hours, just because I know it's hard to get to 30 minutes, which would be great, but 1 to 2 would be a good goal.
Okay, so we can make that your baseline goal, and we'll see if we can, or maybe even we'll make that like something we can work towards.
Okay.
And maybe we can set our baseline goal to be around roughly 2-ish hours, just so we have a place to get started.
Yeah.
Are you taking any sleep aid to help you fall asleep?
If I really can't fall asleep, yeah, I have some
Okay.
medication that I'll take.
Okay, great. So we'll add that into maybe one of our lower numbers on our scale to just make sure it's as an option, but something we're not going to work towards using.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, let's see if we can think of a third goal.
I think something that I really struggle with is completing my morning routine.
Okay.
Yeah, takes me probably about 2 hours just to simply kind of wash my face and brush my teeth and get changed.
Okay, so is that due to the pain?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Do you feel that you have to take breaks doing that as well?
Yeah, I definitely. That's probably some of the times when I take the most pain, because I feel the most pain early in the morning.
Okay, totally, I understand. So that's great. So we can definitely start working with these goals and trying to see how we can, work to improve our pain so we can get through the day and make sure we're able to fall asleep at night, but without being too tired during the day, and so we can especially get through that morning routine, because it's definitely really important, I'm sure, for you, right?
Yeah, definitely.
Okay, great. Okay, hi Kendall.
Hi.
How are you doing?
Pretty good.
Good, it's nice to see you again. So, remember last session we went over and we kind of developed these goals together?
Mm-hmm.
I know we started off, your first goal you wanted to do was to work on not taking so many breaks throughout the day.
Mm-hmm.
And then we also talked about ways to fall asleep a little bit faster. And then also we want to work on completing our morning routine within the or under the 2-hour mark. So, since we last met, I have gone through and put our GAS assessment into a chart form so we can kind of go through some of our goals here and looking at this scale that we use in this assessment.
Okay.
So let's just start with our first goal of energy conservation. So we have these 5 numbers right here, starting at -2 all the way up to +2. So this is kind of just telling us where we want to be, would be our outcome goals, is kind of what we're shooting for. A lot of us, kind of right now, we're still working at our baseline. So right now we're working at our -1, and we're trying not to digress to -2, but it's there in case, just so we're aware that it's a possibility. And then, of course, we're trying to continue to improve into our +1, which would be something that we'd aim for, but if we can just get to 0, it'll be a real good accomplishment. Mm-hmm. And then +2 is kind of over exceeding the goal, but we want to have it there just so we're something to, shoot for.
Yeah.
Okay, great. So let's start with energy conservation. So currently we're at our baseline here of that you're taking about 7 to 9 breaks per day due to the pain. Is that correct?
Yeah.
Okay. So let's look at this chart. So what we kind of want to try to avoid, if we can, would be not exceeding 9 breaks a day.
Okay.
So 10 breaks would be kind of something we're going to work to avoid, but due to chronic pain, it might still be something that we have to deal with or encounter. So that's why we have that at our -2. And then our goal for this would be to only take about 5 breaks per day, given the amount of pain that you are dealing with right now. So I think that's a good goal to shoot for right now, and we can try to do that. And then if we can try to exceed that goal, we can try to get to 3 to 4 times a day. That's how many breaks we'll take. And then if we want to go above and beyond, we'll see if we can get to 1 to 2 breaks. But right now, let's just focus on hitting our outcome of 5 breaks per day.
Okay.
Does that sound good?
Yeah, that sounds perfect.
Okay, great. Our second goal is our quality of sleep. So right now, your baseline is that it's taking you about 2 to 3 hours to fall asleep. We want to try to avoid taking more than 3 hours to fall asleep.
Yeah.
And if you're feeling that you're struggling a lot, I know last time you mentioned that you're taking some sleeping medication when necessary. So of course that's an option, but ideally we'd like to avoid that if possible. So just remember that is always an option if we are kind of dipping back down into this -2 zone. But we of course are trying to reach our goal and our outcome of taking roughly 1 to 2 hours to fall asleep, given the pain that you're in. So we're going to try to work towards that goal within the next few sessions together. And maybe if we can, one thing we can try to exceed to get to that +1 would be taking only about an hour to fall asleep with the pain that you're in. And then if we want to go above and beyond again, we can try to do it within 30 minutes. That might be a little bit overreaching, but it's a goal, so we can have it up there just to keep it in the back of our minds. Does that sound good?
Yeah, perfect.
Great. All right, and our third goal would be to complete our morning routine with less pain. So right now at our baseline, I understand that it's taking you roughly 2 hours to complete your morning routine, which kind of consists of brushing our teeth and washing our face. So ideally, we'd like to get that down to roughly an hour, and maybe with some assistance. I thought maybe that would make it a bit more of an achievable goal at the moment, given your circumstances. So what we'd like to try to avoid doing would be not being able to complete it at all, because then we'd probably have to look into maybe a different living situation that might be less independent for you, which of course is not our goal here, but it's good to keep in mind as that's an option. One goal we're going to shoot for as an outcome would be to complete our morning routine with the 1 hour with some minimal assistance like we just talked about. And then if we want to try to exceed that goal, we can try to complete it within 1 hour with no assistance. So that's something we can shoot for if you're doing well with the pain management. And then lastly, if we want to go above and beyond, we can try to complete the morning routine within 30 minutes with no assistance. Does that sound good?
Yeah, perfect.
Great. Okay, Kendall, so I think we've come up with some really good goals so far, so let's go through them together. So for our first goal, by the end of 6 weeks, you will minimize breaks to only 5 times per day in order to conserve energy. You rank this as the least important, but still important on the scale of 0 to 3, and as a difficulty of a 2. So I agree that this is a really good goal, and I think that your rankings are great. You definitely have some baseline function as you're able to complete this. We just are trying to reduce the pain that you're in, as well as the time it's taking to complete things like the amount of breaks that you're taking. Does that sound good?
Yeah.
Okay, great. Our second goal is by the end of 6 weeks, client will be able to fall asleep within 1 to 2 hours in order to improve sleep preparation. So we've kind of written these goals in the SMART format, which is kind of an OT slang for just kind of making things specific, measurable, attainable, relevant, and time-bound. Okay. So that's kind of the setup of these goals, and that's why they're kind of all formatted a similar way. It just makes it so it's more measurable for us, so we can make sure that this is working out for you as well.
Mm-hmm.
So again, you rated this as number 2, so a little bit more important than the first one, and I think that's a great goal because falling asleep is very important, and kind of getting that under a more managed time will be really good for you. And then also a difficulty of a 2, which is totally fine. And you also have some function here because you are able to fall asleep. It's just we want to reduce the time. So all sounds good. Great.
Yeah.
Okay, great. And our third goal is by the end of 6 weeks, client will be able to complete her morning routine within 1 hour with assistance in order to improve health management. So we added in with assistance just so you don't have to rely on spending all of your energy early in the morning, and we want to make sure you can get through your morning routine in a reasonable amount of time so you can continue on with your day and not be too tired to complete the following activities that you have planned for the day. So you rank this as being your most important, which I think is a great ranking, and also as equally difficult as the rest, added 2. And also with some function like the others, because you are able to complete the morning routine, we just want to kind of reduce our time we're spending with it. So do these sound okay with you?
Yeah.
Okay, great. So over the next 6 weeks, I'll let you take this with you, and if you could, I'd like you to journal your experience with each of these goals as a way to make it measurable for us, so we can see how you've kind of are evolving and growing with these goals, and if you're able to achieve them within the 6-week time frame that we've come up with together.
Okay.
And when you come back next time in 6 weeks, we'll go over if you've achieved the goals and if there's any way we should alter them if you're not able to achieve them in that time frame.
Okay.
Sound good?
Yeah, sounds good.
Okay, great. Well, I look forward to seeing you in
Perfect.
6 weeks.
Thank you.